to step-by-step gun training. Today we're going to be preparing you, getting ready for our next live fire event at a range and at a local gun range. And what we're going to do today is talk about the safety skills that you need to practice at home in your dry fire practice. Okay, so the first thing we're worried about is your finger, and your finger needs to be high in register on the side of the slide. Now, this is a blue gun. If I had my way, this would be the first gun that everybody buys because it's a solid piece of plastic. It's great for practicing just this and many other things, you know, transitioning from left to right hand, you know, practicing your left hand grip, practicing your right hand grip, practicing drawing. All these things are great, and it's solid plastic. If I drop it on my tile from this distance, it's not going to crack my tile. And it's not going to hurt the blue plastic gun either. It's only about 50 bucks. It's well worth it. And it'll make you a better shooter if you have one of these at home that you can practice with, and a safer shooter as well. And it's great when the time comes that you want to teach somebody else. So this is a fantastic thing to have. You get them at Amazon.com. So the finger on the index, okay, finger up here, and when you're practicing at a static range, most people take their gun out of the box or the bag, they load it, they pick it up, and almost immediately they've got their finger, they pick the gun up and they almost immediately get their finger on the trigger, shoot. When they're done shooting, then they put the gun right back down. So they spend more time actually at the range with their finger on the trigger than off the trigger. In reality, you're probably going to be in situations where your finger's off the trigger than on the trigger. So we want you to practice having your finger up here for safety reasons. You know, if you have to move, okay, so I shoot, and if I have to move, I have to put my finger back up on the slide before I move, then I bring it back down again. Because if you trip or get bumped while you're moving, you could accidentally make the gun go off because your finger's on that trigger. So we want it high up here on the slide. And you can see that a little better with this SSGT pistol by Next Level Training, because it's got a different color slide. And it's all the way up here. It's not on the frame, it's all the way up on the slide. Okay? So finger, index, that's something we really want you to practice. Now the other thing that we are really concerned about is, well, of course, your grip. We want to make sure you don't have some odd grip where your thumb is going to get bit by the slide or something of this nature. So practice your grip, practice having your finger indexed, and your draw. So when we're reholstering, we're dragging our garment back, and my gun right now would be still pointed down range, and then it's pointed at the ground just before it goes into the holster. But it's never pointed back at the people behind me. Some people might take their finger and try, or their gun itself, and try and move their garment. Well, if you do that, you end up pointing the gun at yourself and at the people behind you. You need to use the side of your hand. If you have to use your other hand to get the garment out of the way, that's fine. You need help from the range safety officer, that's fine, ask for help. But take it slow when you're reholstering. We don't want any accidents. If there's anything dangling from your clothes that could possibly get into that holster, well, if it gets into the holster and it gets into that trigger guard and you go to push it in, well, you could make the gun go off. So make sure you don't have anything dangling up here. I've got things dangling below my holster, but nothing dangling above my holster. Okay, now, you may shoot from concealment, you may not shoot from concealment. If you're not shooting from concealment, everything's the same. Your hands are out in front of you, you're touching your chest or your thorax with this hand, and then you're drawing up, rocking. This hand slides along your body till it reaches the gun, then you press out. I don't want you meeting your hands out here like you're clapping. It's happening right in here and coming out. That way there's no way that you're going to get your finger in front of that muzzle, your hand in front of that muzzle. So you're not going to shoot yourself in the hand if you're doing it this way. And you're going to do that, and I want you to practice that at home that way with your blue gun or a SSGT pistol or with your real gun, but it better be unloaded and preferably with a barrel block in it. In fact, I almost would just insist that you have a barrel block so that you know that gun is unloaded. There's no ammo in the room when you're practicing. So we're drawing, pressing, firing, and when we're moving, our fingers indexed. So we move, we shoot, move, shoot. So moving the finger up onto the slide is your permission slip to move. And that keeps you nice and safe. And when you're reholstering, your hands are coming back. Again, it's the same motion. Your hands are coming back, your hands touching your torso, reholstering. So we don't want you to shoot yourself in the hand. We don't want you to shoot yourself in the leg. If you do have a gun that has a decocker or an extra manual safety, you need to, or you're not sure if your gun has that, please come see our safety officers and let us explain how all that's going to work and how you use that properly for your skill level. And so when you get to the range, you're going to be met by our greeters. They're going to check your condition. If you show up with a hot gun, because that's how you normally carry it, you're normally concealed when you're at Walmart, that's fine. You show up concealed, and we're going to go ahead and make sure that you're going to tell us what condition your gun's in. Our safety officer is going to help you get in whatever condition you need to be in. If we need to switch you to carry ammo or to practice ammo instead of your carry ammo, we'll do that. If we're starting off with a cold range that day, we'll get your gun in the proper condition. So if some of you aren't concealed carriers, so you might show up with your gun in a bag or a box. Again, you show up, we'll check you in, we'll get your gun in the right condition, get it into a holster for you, and then you're ready for the day. Now, your gun stays in the holster until you go up online and you're given commands. Or your gun would come out of the holster if you first went and got a range safety officer, went over to one of the berms with the range safety officer, and they helped you do whatever it is you need to do with your gun. If you need to use the restroom, you get a range safety officer. We're going to take you over, get your gun unloaded. We're going to leave the slide locked open with no magazine in it, nothing in the chamber, sitting on top of a barrel or a table, so anybody walking by can see that's an empty gun. And then you go to the bathroom, you come back, you get a range safety officer to help you get your gun back into your holster in the right condition. So we aren't going to have people walking around behind other people with guns in their hands. You wouldn't do that at Walmart, you're not going to do that at the range, okay? So we got our finger, we've got our muzzle awareness, our guns are loaded or unloaded depending on at the moment whether we're running a hot or cold range, and we're not going to walk around with our guns out of the holsters, and we're going to have a great time. We're going to be nice and safe, and can't wait to see you there. Thanks. Talk to you later. God bless.